Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Let's see what the game gives me today, and we've got the Technomage. Alright, Technomage with a random weapon should be a pretty fun one. Technomage gets 2 additional turrets, so what weapon we use matters a little less for this character, because a lot of our damage is going to come from those turrets. But of course, what weapon we actually end up with is really going to change the nature of the run. Let's roll here, and we've got the Icicle. So that's an interesting one. Icicle is going to be fine for this character because we can build elemental damage. It will allow us to actually have our Technomage itself doing some damage in addition to the turrets. We want to play a little ways away from the turrets so they can help us clear the enemies, but not so far away that they don't get to attack. So we want to try to arrange it so that the turrets are helping us with wave clear. So as groups of enemies spawn, we want them walking through the turrets so we get a little bit of extra money on the first wave, which we managed to do. Here we're going to go ahead and grab an Icicle, and we'll lock a coupon, and then roll and take another Icicle. Just to remind you what the Technomage does, we get additional elemental damage for every structure we have on the field. So the more structures we have, the better, and for every elemental damage we get, our structures attack faster. So because we're building elemental weapons with these Icicles, we're going to have very fast structure attack speed, so our turrets should be very good. And because we start with these 2 turrets, the base damage of our Icicles is higher as well. I'm going to lock the Penguin. I think we will want to use regen. No, I think Penguin is a decent item, but I think we can do better than that. And in fact, we did. We rolled immediately into Fertilizer, which of course we're very, very happy to see. Technomage is a pretty strong character on the whole, so I don't think there's any weapon roll for this character that I'd be particularly unhappy with. Icicle's a nice one just because this is a good weapon. There's a very solid weapon overall, and also, of course, because it's an elemental weapon, it boosts our structure attack speed. We also got a very lucky box there. We'll take the Broken Mouth here, and then I'm going to roll for Harvesting. Because the Technomage gets fewer level ups, we have increased XP requirements for leveling up. We are going to get a lot fewer defensive stats, so that's going to be the main problem for the characters. We're going to need to build defensive stats, since we aren't able to get those when leveling up, which is where your defensive stats usually come from in Brotato. Here, I'm going to roll, and I will roll again. I do want Harvesting, if I can possibly find it. I missed a couple times. Do I just take regen here? Because we will want to boost our regeneration. I could take armor as well. I'm just gonna roll one more time, I think, because we actually have a lot of money, so I'm hoping to get some sort of economy item. I will take the Fertilizer and the Icicle, and then reroll. Fertilizer is the only item that, and we'll definitely take Energy Bracelet. I actually miscounted, though. I thought I would have enough to reroll twice here, so rerolling an extra time to get that luck did cost me another look at an Icicle. Small error there. Or at least, could still have been the correct decision, but it's not. If it was the correct decision, it was for the wrong reasons, and you should always strive to make decisions for the right reasons, as well as actually making the right choice. But more important to have sound reasoning than it actually is to make the correct decision most of the time, because that's how you learn and improve. We'll definitely take the helmet. We actually got 2 level ups, that's pretty nice, and we will take the Harvesting here. We'd, of course, love to get to 21 Harvesting, so we're going to prioritize getting that early, and then we'll take 5 more Harvesting. Now we're going to take the coupon. Do I buy the Energy Bracelet? I think I'm actually going to leave this locked. The Energy Bracelet is a nice item for us, obviously, because it gives us elemental damage and crit chance. But I really would like to roll into more weapons because we bought the Fertilizer, because I messed up early and got 1 fewer reroll for my weapon selection here. So I'm going to be rolling. I will buy the Cake and Baby Gecko, because we can still reroll after buying those 2 items, which we definitely want, and then we'll lock these 2. Do I reroll again? We're guaranteed to see at least 1 weapon in the shop. For 5, the likelihood of locking an Icicle, I think it's worth doing 1 more reroll there. unfortunately we missed. But Icicle's a weapon that you really, really want to level up, so you should heavily prioritize getting levels on that weapon in the early waves, which we haven't quite managed to do. So while we will be fine regardless, I think, we definitely want to focus on making sure that we're leveling our Icicles. Kill this curse alien, run over here, manually target that tree down, and just sort of let the turrets do their thing. Let's see, where is a curse alien? There's the other one. Manually target it just to make sure we get the second curse. And then here, I'm going to take 10 attack speed. Attack speed is so good with Icicle, which is a very slow attacking weapon, so that's what it mostly scales with. Again, I think I might leave the energy bracelet, and we'll buy these 2 economy items, and then I'm rolling for Icicles. Buy a broken mouth and roll. Wow, we are getting so unlucky rolling into Icicles. Okay, we finally found another one. I was getting a little worried there. Any additional turrets or anything like that that we can find, if we can find a scared sausage, landmines, garden, just, there's a lot of items that are particularly good for Technomage that we haven't rolled into yet, but mostly right now we're concerned with getting our Icicles online. Making sure to kill that buff floater, because it's pretty dangerous to have that thing running around. And then we want to kill this buffing alien, the one with the sort of mohawk. Get that curse alien as well, and also we got a box when our turret on the other side of the map killed stuff for us. We do have quite low percentage damage, so I'm going to take the bone dice. When we find them early like this, bone dice will end up giving us a lot of percent damage. And while Technomage doesn't always care that much about percent damage, because often your engineering is what actually is killing stuff, this version of the character definitely does want it, because we're just killing stuff with our Icicles. So here I'm actually just going to take the 8% damage as well to repair that, or do I start building regen? I could also roll for an economy stat. I think I'm going to start building regen, actually. I'm a little concerned because we have no healing right now, and I'd definitely like to improve that. Once again, we're leaving this energy bracelet locked because we found 3 other good items, so we won't quite be able to afford it, but I do want to reroll again so that we can find an Icicle. And then let's do one more reroll to see if we can lock... Oh, wow. Okay, that makes up a lot for the Icicles that we missed on the earlier waves, so very happy to see that. I'm also incentivized to do rerolls a little more frequently now that we have bone dice, because every reroll is worth half a damage on average. So every time... If I reroll for 9 materials there, like, would we spend 9 materials on 0.5% damage? We might, actually. So you should remember that you've got bone dice and reroll a little more aggressively in order to take advantage of the effect of that item. Of course, the extra turret is great, gives us more elemental damage, and obviously also helps us wave clear, because it itself is going to kill things. I would love to get a little more defensive stat. That's kind of what we need next. And a more harvesting would be nice as well. I'll take the helmet here. I'm going to take 8 harvesting. Because this is a character that really wants... that doesn't get a lot of economy through level ups, because we have our reduced level up or increased level up requirements. This character is going to struggle a little bit in order to make as much money as other characters will. So you need to invest even more heavily into economy stats with the Technomancer. But you should... Technomage, excuse me. But we should be able to use the bonus wave clear that we get to make up the difference, because the turrets help us clear the waves. Here, I'm definitely going to buy the weapons. So let's go ahead and do that. We're once again short. This energy bracelet has stayed locked in the shop for, 5-6 waves? Do I want Sharp Bullet? It's very good for turrets and very bad for Icicles. Icicles have 1 piercing already, so adding a piercing is much less important, and the Sharp Bullet reduces their piercing damage, so they'll drop to minus 70% damage per pierce. That would basically mean that we have to find a pumpkin in order for the Icicle piercing damage to do anything. But on the other hand, it's very good for our turrets, which have no inherent pierce, so it's going to help them do additional damage. And if we find scared sausage or something like that, then we'll be very glad we have the extra pierce. I think that the sharp bullet is worth grabbing here. It's going to hurt my wave clear from the icicles, but help my wave clear from the turrets. And if we find a pumpkin, okay, well, easy choice. Turns out I'm the greatest gamer alive and just knew that was going to happen. Then we can kind of make up the difference, and then we will be happy to have the additional piercing on the icicles if we do find pumpkin, which we did. This is another run where things are mostly going our way, so I'm pretty happy with that. Did take that hit, and we don't have any form of healing currently. No lifesteal and very, very low regeneration, so that's something we're definitely going to need to address. I am kind of missing that penguin that we didn't buy, but obviously we got a fertilizer instead of it because I chose to roll for economy items, so that worked out significantly better, because of course we would rather have the fertilizer than the penguin. Making sure to kill that cursed enemy, and we're still making quite good money at this point. Gummy Berserker, even though attack speed is very important for this character, I really don't want to reduce my armor, so we're just going to recycle that, and then we'll take 8 harvesting. And here, we can finally buy an energy bracelet, so we're going to do that, get the treasure map, get this turret, and take our free reroll. Coffee, Scar, and Mushroom are all items that we want, so we're going to buy all 3 of them, which of course we're very happy about, and then move on to Wave 8. I will say this is another run where we've gotten... this character, I think, as I said, doesn't really have any weak rolls for its weapons. There just aren't that many weapons that we could roll that would be difficult to play with Technomage, because this is a very strong character. You just get a lot of free wave clear from the turrets. And your weapon set matters a lot less for this character than for a lot of other characters, because you can rely on... You can use engineering items more freely, and your wave clear, you get a lot of... Pruners might be a little bit hard, but Pruners is never actually hard, because you just have so much free healing from the fruits. You can... If you end up with a Pruner build with this character, you can always just run away from the enemies and just heal. So I really don't think there's any real low rolls that we could have gotten. Do I want the bat? I think I will take the bat. Currently, we have no healing, so I'm going to take the lifesteal here, even at the cost of 2 harvesting. If we build up to 10-15% lifesteal, our character is a ranged character that attacks pretty frequently, so we're still happy with that. Take a wheelbarrow here, and Ugly Tooth, that can help us out when we are trying to kill elites, which is going to be a challenge for this character. I would love to roll into some speed. I've reduced my move speed a lot, but I'm certainly not going to turn down 15% attack speed. And we will buy all of these items and then do a reroll. I'll take another Scar. Scar is worse for this character because we have increased XP level up requirements, so the increased XP gain is not as useful for this character because it's still going to take us a long time to level up. But it's still a solid economy item, so we're going to go ahead and grab it. And when we get it early like this, it's pretty nice. And then we can lock all 3 of these items. How well have our bone dice performed, by the way? We got those early. We've gotten 0 stats gained and 2 HP lost. So these bone dice have performed, I would say, typically. I would say this is about my usual luck with bone dice. We also badly need percent damage, so the bone dice not working is even worse for us overall. Gonna go ahead and just kill that spawner right away. We would love to get scared sausage. That would help our turrets. I've been passing on engineering. You can buy engineering on this character. Now that we have 4 turrets, I might start buying engineering. Typically, if you've got an elemental damage weapon on this character, I don't think you need to buy engineering, because you just don't have enough engineering items that buying engineering is actually helpful. But since we now have 4 turrets, engineering will be a meaningful increase to our wave clear, because our attack speed is going to be good with them. We can build elemental damage as well in order to increase our construct attack speed more. Mostly right now I'm just leaning into attacking with our icicles, which are doing the most work for us, but we can definitely expand the ways in which we're doing damage as the character continues to get a little stronger or level up a bit more. Here I'm going to reroll. I think we can do better than the level 1 upgrades here. And I'll take 7 crit chance. Crit chance is very useful for Icicle, of course. Icicle gets higher crit multipliers as you level it up, so the more crit chance you get, the more your damage increases. And I will take 1 more harvesting upgrade. I'm going to buy the Terrified Onion here because our move speed is atrocious, so we've got to upgrade that. But other than that, I'm just happy to buy this whole shop. Ice Cube, obviously very nice for us. That's going to increase our damage output basically by 10%. And the Black Belt I'm going to pass on. We already have 40% XP gain increase, so more XP gain is less impactful for this character, because XP gain gets worse the more you have of it. And losing 8 luck is a real downside, so we're going to pass on the Black Belt, but I will buy Cute Monkey. That's a good way to heal. Snake doesn't do anything yet. If I do get a level 2 turret, so if I find an incendiary turret, or a scared sausage, then the snake will be pretty useful. As is, though, I only have 31 max HP. This character levels slowly, which means you get less max HP, and the snake doesn't currently do anything, so I'm going to roll past it. I will take bait here. We should be able to kill the lampreys pretty efficiently, and our percent damage is horrible. And then we're going to roll again, and we will lock this icicle. Weird Ghost, I just took bait, so unfortunately I can't take it this wave, but I'm going to lock it, because we definitely want increased health, max health, and we should be able to, even on a horde wave, the Weird Ghost will be safe to buy. I just don't want to buy it when I just bought bait. Do I reroll again here? With 2 items locked, I think I'm just going to hold on 15 materials, or rather than reroll for 15. Even with the bone dice, so glad I didn't buy the Weird Ghost there, because I immediately took a hit, would have died. Even with the bone dice, I don't think spending 15 on a reroll for only 2 open slots is worth it there. So, move speed, regeneration, and basically, yeah, move speed and regeneration and percent damage. Those are the stats that we care about the most right now. Go ahead and kill this curse alien if I can. Got it. We do good damage at the 2 full health enemies. Yes, I know, I said do. Everyone loves it. Sound off in the comments. We do great damage to full health enemies because we have the bonuses from the small fish, which are increasing our damage, and the ice cube, which is increasing our damage. So enemies who are high health are taking a ton of damage. I think I'm going to take 3 elemental damage over 2 armor here. While I do badly want armor, I also want elemental damage, and then we'll take 4 regen. That's great. And then here we can level our icicles, and buy another one, take a Weird Ghost, and then roll. Roll again here, because there's nothing we care about. I'll take a hit injury. I'm going to buy book. 1 engineering doesn't seem like much, but it only costs 24. And it also gives us a level 1 item that we don't have yet if we happen to roll into fairy. So for only 24, I think that's worth doing. Don't really want the cyber ball or the butterfly. Another bone dice I'm going to pass on as well, because bone dice I typically don't think is worth buying in the shop. We picked up the item when it came out of a crate, much to my chagrin, because we lost 3 HP and only gained 5 damage from it so far. But I don't really want to get the second bone dice here. Here I will take the duct tape for bonus engineering and lemonade. Toolbox, I'm going to pass on. Attack speed is too important for this character, and the engineering is not going to be that important for us. There's the bone dice. The game really wants me to grab these bone dice. You know what? I've changed my mind, actually. I'm going to take the bone dice, partly because it means that it can never show up in the shop again, and also because if we reroll and get a few more points of percent damage, that is a pretty big deal for the character. So we're going to see how the second bone dice perform. I expect not amazing, and it means we will need to heavily prioritize getting max HP, but also just having 2 bone dice is kind of fun, so I wanted to do that. Making a decent amount of HP back even after the Weird Ghost, so even in the Horde wave, you can see there that we were pretty safe to just buy Weird Ghost and increase our max HP. So obviously, if I was going to buy the bone dice, I should have bought them the first time they showed up, rather than the second time, but just because you've made a decision one way doesn't mean that you have to make that decision that way every time. It's better to change, if you decide you've made a mistake, it is better to change what you're doing rather than just commit to making a mistake because you've already done it. You don't want to just stay committed to a bad course of action. In this case, I think it would have been a totally reasonable course of action to stay committed to, because it's certainly not buying bone dice, I think, is usually a good plan. And I don't know if it'll work out, but I just wanted to because I thought it would be fun. Left a lot of materials on the ground, and our clear speed is suffering, so that wave 11 was very rough for us, because our attack speed is quite low, but hopefully we can get a little bit more damage here. We'll take a cute monkey, and I'm definitely taking the move speed, because we just gotta buy any move speed that we can find. Pocket Factory, obviously great for this character, because it's going to give us just so many additional turrets. Now, this is a question that I get a lot. So with Technomage, you get 2 elemental damage for every structure you have. This is structures that you have in your inventory, not structures that are on the field. So Pocket Factory, no matter how many turrets it spawns, always counts as 1 structure for this bonus. So it'll always just to give us 2 elemental damage. It's the same thing with landmines. No matter how many landmines we let spawn, the landmines just count as 1 structure. So they're going to increase our elemental damage only by 2. So Pocket Factory, you can see here, we're going to buy it, we'll go up by 2 elemental damage. We'll take the fertilizer and the little muscly dude and then roll. And medical turret, this is another structure, and of course this is also a decent amount of healing, because we've got 6 engineering. If we hit 10 engineering, then the medical turret will give us 4 healing, but it also attacks very quickly, because we have the bonus structure attack speed, which is the thing that mostly is going to impact how much healing this gives us. So this gives us a lot of extra healing. I'm going to take the Peacock. We can't afford it this wave, obviously, but Peacock, I think, will work out just for a couple extra levels. And extra levels are really good for this character if we can get them, which is hard to do, but Peacock is a lot of XP gain. If we can get the extra levels from the Peacock, then we get extra HP, which is really nice for this character. Similarly, I'm going to buy Jelly, because we've got double bone dice, so I have to buy basically any max HP that we find, because the bone dice are going to be constantly costing us health. So, and, you know, we've lost 3 stats already, so buying the Jelly is really good there. Snake, we're still going to pass on, since it cost me a very important stat in the form of max HP, and we don't have anything that actually works with it currently. I will say, through a combination of a couple small errors and a little bit of bad movement and stuff in the last wave, I have put myself, I think, in a slightly worse position than we should be in. I think this character is still very, very strong, so we'll still be fine. But I do feel like we should be a little more ahead at this point of the game than we currently are. Combination of not getting like the best chops, we've gotten pretty good chops. And so if you feel like you've gotten decent chops and are still sort of a little bit behind, that's usually a sign that you've made just some small errors. So things like miscalculating the amount that we needed to be able to purchase the to be able to reroll for an extra Icicle early, so that set us behind on finding all of our weapons. Just little things like that that I've done slightly incorrectly this run. I'll take the Jerky here, of course, because Jerky's just a truly amazing item, and then we'll take some more crit chance. Crit chance, very, very important for the Icicle. Here, I desperately want this entire shop, but I'm going to take the armor. I think that's the thing that we need the absolute most. We'll take Peacock, Jerky, Weird Food, and Lemonade. Yep, we'll just take all of those. I'll take another Weird Food, sure. I don't think I want crit chance badly enough to buy Claw Tree, though it's honestly fairly close. Here, we're going to take the Icicle and another Icicle and a Mutation. And then one more reroll, and we can lock an Icicle and a Laser Turret. I really enjoyed when I was like, oh, how are the Bone Dice doing so far, by the way? Oh, 0 damage gained, -2 health after, like, 4 waves. Just the absolute worst performing Bone Dice of all time. As is classic for my runs. I'm curious what the odds are for our Bone Dice after the number of rerolls we did to have cost us 2 HP and given us no additional damage. But it's gotta be a pretty small chance. Our harvesting is okay. It could be better, so we're making okay money at this point, but this is the point in the Abyss where your character can really start to struggle, because wave 13, 14, 15 on the Abyss give you very little money from enemies. You can see here we got only like 300 materials from enemies on this wave. So you really need to have high harvesting or other sources of income in order to actually generate money on these waves, which of course you need to do because this is the point where you need to be gearing up to fight elites, gearing up for the boss fights in the end game as well. I'm gonna combine here and buy an Icicle, Laser Turret. I'll take the Fuel Tank as well, just more elemental damage. Elemental damage is typically not critically important to buy on the Icicle, which is a pun, because what is critically important is critical hit chance. Since Icicle gives you 2.5x critical on the level 3 and 3x critical on the level 4 Icicle, it's usually most important to buy crit chance in order to increase your damage rather than base damage on this weapon. Crit chance and attack speed. Attack speed is actually even more important. So we've bought a lot of elemental damage, which isn't that great for these weapons. It still helps them, but mostly this is because this gives us additional construct attack speed, so it's also helping our turrets clear and our medical turret heal us and everything there. Cursed Cog is going to be great, of course. Cursed items are always solid, so we're very happy to have it. I'll take a bat as well. We'll do a reroll, and I will lock a whistle and a medical turret. But if the elemental damage didn't give construct attack speed, I would certainly not be buying it as aggressively as I am for this character, because it's less impressive for our weapons, and we also get it by buying constructs. So we don't need to invest that heavily in flat elemental damage for the character, except that it makes our constructs actually pretty solid. And when we find stuff like Cursed Cog, so the base damage of our constructs goes up as well, they're contributing a lot to our wave clear. If only I had a Scared Sausage to make them also be setting things on fire, then we'd be in really good shape. Although really the items that we need are things like Black Flag, Bag, Hunting Trophy, just anything that would be giving us more money, because as you can see, walked into a bunch of enemies there. As you can see, our income these waves is really starting to fall behind, with only 400 materials made this wave. I'm going to take bonus move speed. We currently have 1%, and I definitely want to increase that before I fight the elite here. We don't have anything that explodes at all, right? So we're going to pass on Plastic Explosive. I'll buy all these items and then roll. Level up an Icicle. Really, really nice to get these leveled up to level 4, because they start critting for 3x damage and are just a much more powerful weapon overall when you get them to level 4. They also attack faster, which is really important. I mean, you can see that the level 4 Icicle attacks basically a 1/5 again faster than the level 3 Icicle, which is a huge increase to its damage output. Take the Ritual and the Beanie as well. It does cost me 2 engineering, but I think the damage and lifesteal is still just worth it on the Ritual. And then, let's see if we can kill this elite. So I definitely want to try to kill the elite quickly. Icicle is a very good single target DPS weapon, so we should be able to kill the elite. You can see why Jerky is such a good item there, because it just like heals us to full. So we should be able to kill the elite really quickly, and that'll make it much easier for us to just survive the rest of the wave and actually make some money. Very happy I invested in that 3 armor that we picked up earlier, because my armor's low and my HP's low, so we really need to be buying a little more of that in order to not be getting just 2-tapped by enemies. Very hard to build adequate defenses on the Technomage, because for most characters in Brotato, your offensive stats come from items, and your defensive stats come from your level ups. It's much easier, just based on what level ups exist in the game, to find offensive stats from items, or based on what items exist in the game. It's much easier to find offensive stats from items and defensive stats from levels, because there actually aren't that many efficient items that give you defensive stats. In particular, like armor, there's only really one good item that gives you armor in the form of metal plate, and a bunch of items that you buy because armor is so important, like helmet, that aren't particularly efficient. But the best way to get armor is by leveling up. Seashell, of course, we're going to grab this. This gives us a bunch of extra projectiles from the icicles, so it's going to help a ton here, and then we're going to roll. And here I'm going to take 9% speed, so now our movement speed is a lot better, which we're very happy about. Go ahead and combine and buy an icicle, buy this, and then roll. A Rip and Tear, Cursed Rip and Tear, sure. So we can't use melee damage ever. But this just gives me 5 curse, which is pretty nice, and I can buy an icicle. Do I buy a dynamite here because we're buying the Rip and Tear? I think not. We're basically spending 168 on 5 curse here, so we're not that worried about actually doing damage with the Rip and Tear. Much more we're worried about just getting 5 curse, and it does a little bit of extra damage for us. Take a recycling machine as well, because we have at least 1 elite coming up, and having a recycling machine before you go into an elite wave is a good insurance policy in case you get a level 4 item that you just can't use. It is sad that Seashell doesn't work with constructs, because it would be really nice if it made the, like the laser turret fire extra projectiles. And honestly, it's funny, that doesn't work, because this game usually errs very much on the side of if something could work together, then it does. It's very, like, player-friendly in that way. Usually, I will take the explosion size now. Now that we have the Rip and Tear, I'll just pick that up for 40 materials. I'm going to recycle this again. I still need to increase my armor. Take the metal. This is one of the best items we could find, even at the cost of crit chance. But butterfly we're going to recycle because I don't want to lose elemental damage. And sure, we'll take another metal detector here. 10 luck. This late, I think I'm going to roll for combat stats. So we're just going to grab attack speed. Then we will take Rip and Tear, Recycling Machine, and Clockwork Wasp and roll. We will take a baby gecko and a penguin. And unfortunately can't reroll again, but these are both items that will help us out a lot. So this is, I would say, a fairly typical position to be in as the Technomage. We've got very good damage, we've got a decent number of constructs on the field, and we've upgraded them a bunch. But our defensive stats are lagging quite a bit behind. We have no dodge. Our armor is adequate, but only barely, and our max HP is quite low because we haven't leveled up that much. So this is a pretty normal position to be in on this character. Luckily, because we do so much damage, we're able to make up the difference just by killing things really quickly. But this is what a lot of Technomage runs are going to look like in general. Kind of no matter what weapon you pick, even if you go for a more engineering or defensively focused build. The Rip and Tear, I think, is actually performing surprisingly well. So I'm a little more impressed with that than I would be otherwise. Pile of Books, great find for this character. We already have a ton of crit chance, and we have a ton of structures, so the Pile of Books is great. We'll take 3 armor there. Fertilizer in 3 waves. Even I'm not going to buy Fertilizer for 54 on wave 18. I'm tempted, you know I am, but I don't think it's ever going to pay off. The Rip and Tear only dealt 1200 damage, so it is helping. It's basically half of our level 1 Icicle, but it's not helping significantly. Treasure map this late, we probably will get 1 item out of it. If we get 2 items, it's great. So I'm going to buy the treasure map. I think it will probably not pay off significantly, but there's a decent chance that it will, so I'm going to pick it up. But I will ignore the goldfish there, because I don't care that much about rolling into higher level items. We actually rolled into kind of the exact lower level items that we wanted in the form of all those icicles. I will buy 1 more elemental damage there, and then we'll roll, buy an icicle, buy a clockwork wasp, and a muscly dude, and then we're going to go to the next wave. This wave is pretty decent for us because while there's a lot of very high health enemies on it, it takes them a while to start coming after you, because most of the dangerous enemies on this wave are the spawners, or the stargazers that have to run to the towers before they actually deal any damage to you. So you have a decent amount of time to focus down the elite before the other enemies on the field are threatening. So typically, if you're a high damage character trying to kill the elite, then wave 18 on the Abyss is a decent wave for it to spawn on. Oops. Took a lot of hits there. Let's go pick up a couple consumables. Badly need some more max HP, just because when we are getting hit for 20 damage a shot, I could still die pretty easily. And of course, those pufferfish are always going to spawn projectiles. Extra stomach, this will maybe get me 8 HP next wave, so I'm going to pick it up because max HP is so important. Even if it only gets me like 5 or 6, then I'm pretty happy with it. And we will take percent damage, I think, here, because our percent damage, despite having double bone dice quite early, our percent damage is still pretty low. Let's go ahead and buy these items and then roll. Cursed Icicle, of course, we're very happy about, and the sunglasses as well, so we're just going to keep both of these. And then, do I reroll here? Yeah, I'll do 1 reroll, and we'll lock another Icicle. Perfect. Cursed Icicle is going to help us kill the bosses very quickly. So I do want to try to stay full health or pick up consumables while I'm full health, just because I want to try to get as much value out of this extra stomach as possible while we have it for this wave. So ideally what that means is I just don't take too many hits this wave, but I do still need to pick up materials, because this is wave 19, so any materials we leave on the ground are gone forever. I would say this has been a reasonably clean run. Like I said, there were a couple things that I thought were mistakes that I did earlier. But overall, I think we've ended up just playing this reasonably well and getting quite strong. Here I'm going to take the Peaceful Bee. No, we're at -6 dodge, so there's no point in taking Peaceful Bee. We'll recycle that. Snake does work with the Incendiary turret, but I think I'm going to recycle it. I just don't think that the snake is going to come up, really. We'll take 5 crit chance here. Take a look at the extra stomach. So this is worth 5 HP. So it's not the most impressive extra stomach. It's basically exactly the same as the muscly dudes that we also bought. But 5 HP is still good. And going to 60 HP gives us a lot more survivability and potential chance to not die than being at 50 HP, so the extra stomach, very useful. Now take the level 2 Icicle here to get the Cursed Icicle, and that will give us a level 3 Cursed Icicle, and then if I buy this level 3, we'll have a level 4 Cursed Icicle. If I'd done it in the other order and bought the level 3 first, then we'd have 5 level 4s and a level 3 Cursed, and I'd rather have my Cursed Icicle be the higher level one, because higher level Cursed items get correspondingly more bonuses and are extremely strong. Take the sunglasses and then roll here. Yeah, I'll take Plant and Beanie. Baby Squid for 1 regen, I think we can pass on. Alien Baby, kind of interesting for this character as well. I might have taken it if we could afford it, just to give us... Because 15 max HP would put us in a much safer position to fight these bosses. We definitely have low armor for what I like on the Abyss. I would prefer to have more like 20 armor than 10 armor. But I'll just take the mutation here and then roll. And of course we would take the Cursed Blood Leech, but let's just see what else we could have rolled into. Could have rolled into a turret, but I think we'll just have to kill the bosses before they kill us, as usual. But in this case, it's even more important that we kill them quickly, because our defenses are quite poor. Excuse me. Took a couple of hits here, so I'm going to back off and use the jerky to heal up. Stand near my medical turret, and then we'll just try to kill this boss. Typically, you want to kill the whale boss before the snake boss, but it is harder to do that, and so this is just the order we ended up fighting them in. And as long as you can kill one early, then you should be able to kill both pretty simply, because once one of them is off the field, it's a lot easier to focus the other, because there's just less incoming damage. Alright, I would say this was a pretty solid run overall. Obviously, the Technomage is a fairly strong character, so like I said, I don't think there's any really bad weapons we could roll, but Icicle's, of course, a very strong weapon overall. 272 materials saved from coupon. We ended up with 31 damage, but minus 8 health from the bone dice. Not a good trade for what we spent on those. Even getting these this early, the bone dice, were still not very good. 3 items from the treasure maps, so I don't think the second one worked out, but treasure map is still just a good item if you get it pretty early. Roll here, or look here a bit. Really not many more economy items. We got 6k damage from the Rip and Tear, and 53 materials from the recycling machine, though we bought that more as an insurance policy, so I'm not unhappy that it didn't pay for itself. It's more if we'd found a level 4 item from the elite that we didn't want, then the recycling machine would have been good to have. 8 extra HP from the extra stomach, but only 5 that were really relevant. So overall, I would say that this run went pretty solidly. We just ended up with a solid weapon, did a bunch of damage, and cleared the enemies very quickly. Our Cursed Icicle did 22k, which is just about double what our other weapons did, which is pretty normal for a cursed weapon. Alright, my friends, hope that you have enjoyed this random run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like, helps me out a ton with the algorithm, and I will be back with more random challenge runs, other Brotato content, and other strategy game analysis, so you can subscribe to my channel for more of that. Cheers, my friends, and I will catch you next time.